It has just been amazing. I just love everyone. I have to tell you, the very first meet and greet that I went to, I was like, whoa, where have these people been all my life?
Common reaction.
Common reaction. I mean, I'm like, oh, because, it's so not like any other networking group. We've all been to those where it's like this slow watching paper by and awful. And, they do this, they do that. And it's like, oh, get me out of here. And instead of that, this was just this group of people doing all kinds of amazing healing, soul-centered, heart-centered things, and wanting to know about everybody else and how they could be of service. So it was just such a wonderful experience that from moment one, I just said, tell me more about these people.
All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tribe Talks, our connected conversations with NLBP members. Today, we are with Heidi Rome. She has been a member for almost a year. It'll be a year in April, so we're 1 month off. And we're going to learn a little bit about her and her story. Hi, Heidi. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey, Camille. Great to be here. Thank you.
I'm so excited. So tell me, so far, you've only been with us 11 months, what your experience with NLBP has been so far.
It has just been amazing. I just love everyone. I have to tell you, the very first meet and greet that I went to, I was like, whoa, where have these people been all my life? Common reaction. Common reaction. I mean, I'm like, oh, because, it's so not like any other networking group. We've all been to those where it's like this slow watching paper by and awful. And, they do this, they do that. And it's like, oh, get me out of here. And instead of that, this was just this group of people doing all kinds of amazing healing, soul-centered, heart-centered things, and wanting to know about everybody else and how they could be of service. So it was just such a wonderful experience that from moment one, I just said, tell me more about these people.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to have you today and to talk about your story and what you do. So let's first talk about your book, right? You Just Have to Love Me, which is all about your son, Ethan.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that book. Yep. And what was I know what your inspiration was to create it, but tell us the story of your book and now how you help moms like you.
Well, I always had a book. I always knew I had a book within me. And when I was a kid, but I thought, I don't have anything to say. I don't have a message or something that the world is going to want to hear. And, so I kind of just like put it off. And then life presented that. My younger son, Ethan, who is now 16, has severe autism. And so it's been quite the journey learning how to help him navigate this path, deal with all the challenges, stay sane, stay calm, get him what he needs, make sure the rest of the family gets what they need, make sure that I take care of me too, to stay strong with all this. So there was so much to learn and pull together. And I always knew I wanted to be of service to other moms who were facing the same challenges, because I knew how tough a journey it is. And I said, if I could help one other person not go through what I go through, that would be amazing. And so I began my business, Mom's Spectrum Oasis, to help other mothers on this journey. And so once I started that business to be a guide to other moms, especially the moms of people who have more severe autism, because autism, as you may know, is a very wide spectrum, and there's a lot more media attention on the people who are not as affected, whereas the other end, like my son, who don't speak and have challenging behaviors, there's not a lot of awareness around that.
Right.
So I said, okay, that's what my business is going to focus on. I'm going to help those moms. And I started that. And the coach I was working with at the time said, you know, you should write a book, because it's sort of like it's a credential for credibility, and it's almost like a brochure. It's like a thick brochure that you could talk about. And so it was her suggestion, write a how-to book.
Okay.
And so I started from that perspective, and certainly pouring out, you know, all the advice, and do this, don't do that, be careful of that, pitfalls of this. And then I'm saying, well, but you know, it's not just the logistical operational things, it's your mind through all this, you know, the mindset, and then the, you know, how do you stay strong, and your spiritual beliefs around all that. And I realized that was more of the story. And so the book kind of morphed from a logistical, operational how-to into telling my story about my journey, yes, and the logistics, yes, and though the spiritual journey that really was the umbrella story operating, that was actually the underpinning of my moving through the challenge.
Okay.
And the story, and I know you know it, is that my son Ethan, who has very little language and doesn't speak, but can, through a certain technique, can type what he's thinking. And there was a very critical exchange. And this was a child, when he was 5 years old, I was told that he had the mental capacity of a 5-month-old baby.
Ooh,
And
okay.
it was devastating. I mean, that was the worst news actually in my life I had ever gotten, including news of death. Like, that news was a death of the dream of what was possible. It
Totally
was
understand.
just
devastating.
And then Ethan emerging through this technique. So there was one critical conversation that just, though, changed everything. And in that conversation, as you know, mentioned in the book, I said to Ethan, what are your thoughts about God? And then proceeded from there, this incredible exchange. You know, God is in my heart, and he will always protect me. And that he chose to come here with challenges. I'm like, why? You know, I will be greatly rewarded in eternity. And then ultimately, when I said, well, what can we do as his mother, right? What can we do to help you on this journey? Here, this book is all about, help. The first time he answered, because I asked it twice, the first time he said, I have to complete my journey as prescribed by God. And I'm thinking, well, that's nice. That's nice, but what can we do?
Yeah.
Tell me, what can we do? And he typed, you just have to love me. And that is your job. The rest is my job to do.
Wow.
And that was so powerful, Camille, because what it did was, it was letting me know it was not my job to fix my broken kid.
Oh, I love that.
What my whole life had been about.
Yep.
The realization, and this message is not only for the autism community, although we benefit from it, but truly for all humanity, that our only job in relationship with each other is not to change or fix somebody else. We can only change ourselves. Our only job with any other human is to love and accept them for who they are, and choose to focus on the good. Focus on what's right and strong and wonderful, and provide the support you need. I mean, what does it mean to love? And that's a whole other thing, which I have written about. But to love is the choice to focus on the good and and what's strong, and meet the needs that you see, no more, no less, but with the presumption of competence, that people are doing the best they can. And how can I be of assistance to you on the journey? No more, no less, because you don't want to overdo, because that disempowers the other person, but you also want to give enough so that they can take it from there, and don't give half a loaf if they need more than that. So it's a balance, it's a dance, and that's the human experience. And Ethan is my extraordinary teacher. And so now I go and I speak to people and I say, we all are on the spectrum. We all have things that, we focus too much on, or not enough on, or we, get things out of proportion, or we overreact, or whatever it is. And we all, if we stay in our lane,
I like that.
We'll all benefit from it. And that's a message for everybody.
Yeah. So Ethan knew at the time that you were writing the book. Did you share that with him, or these stories came in the book later?
Oh, the stories were before the book.
Okay.
I wrote the book. And
shared those.
To share them, because Ethan, part of it is that Ethan is now at a residential school for kids with severe autism, and that was a whole journey and I can
imagine
it was a heartbreaking thing. And then, so part of writing the book was also a kind of therapy for me, to work through my own process and come out the other side, and different people will experience things differently and choose different responses. And in our case, we felt this is what met his needs. And thankfully, Ethan typed it. When he was leaving the old school to go to the new, they threw him a party and oh, Ethan, we love you, we'll miss you. They gave him this beautiful photo memory book. And there was a page that was done without me there, and it was in the book, which I promptly took out of the book to frame, it was called Ethan's Wisdom. And they had asked him, how do you feel about going to the new school that you're going to? And this was the page of his responses. So he was 11 years old at that point. And it said, I'll miss, his current school, but my journey takes me to Boston. I am making huge changes and I feel brave. Don't be sad for me, which of course I, started bawling. And then the last sentence, he's 11, right? Are quitters of failure or choosing a different path to success?
Wow.
Like,
wow.
What the heck?
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, Heidi, stop crying here.
Yeah.
The kid's fine. You're a mess. He's fine.
Wow.
So,
incredible.
and he's been thriving there. So I'm just so
that's
very,
terrific.
Very grateful. So so I share my story with people to just give them hope and light, and whatever choices they make, just to remember you're not alone, because it's a tough journey. And whenever people are facing hard things and they go into fear mode, they forget that there are others who want to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is there to just remind them that, been there, done that, honey. Like, if you need a sounding board, you need anything, like, please, people want to, it's me, it's my goal now is to build, and that's what I'm doing, building a community of moms who have been there, done that. There are different stages of awareness of where they are on the journey and what's important. And while we're always focused on our child, and that's what consumes us, like, is he okay? Is he okay? Is he going to be okay? And into the future and adulthood and all that. But the most important thing we can do for our kid is for us to stay hopeful and optimistic and strong so that we're our best and can continue to manifest what he'll need. And he feels that.
Absolutely.
So
beautiful.
It's a win-win. And that's the work, right? To
So,
remember that we're not alone.
So tell me a little bit, or our audience, tell our audience too, how you specifically work with moms or families, and how I am assuming it's in like in a coaching type of relationship.
Yes, it's coaching. It takes all forms. It depends on the situation.
What they need. Yeah.
I go into schools. I go into, and then a lot of times,
okay,
the community. People, I have groups. I've run healing circles. I have coaching groups and programs, one-on-one clients. It comes in different forms depending on what people need. Some people want to stay in the group. I run a monthly program, a free monthly program just to gather the moms so that those who are just they're just like, I'm worn out. I don't know.
Where do I start? Yeah.
Where do I even begin to be with other people who get it? No judgment, because we live with a lot of judgment because someone telling us we're not doing it right. So so I have a private Facebook group called Take a Breath and Breathe.
Okay.
So they can find me, people can find me on Facebook. And then every month I have a monthly gathering in which first they come together. It's called 25 minutes for me. And so the first 25 minutes is just come together, breathe, just be with other people. And then if that's all they want, they don't even have to turn on the camera if they're just too exhausted, just to be there. And then the second 25 minutes is programming. Either I'm teaching, talking, sharing, or I have a guest speaker who will come in and many of the NLBP folks,
practitioners,
generously come in to help the moms, breathe.
Oh, so beautiful.
And, clear energy and just stay strong, and the mindset and tapping, like the whole thing. Like,
oh, I love hearing that.
Oh, they're the best.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love these people. And they want to give and they want to help people who really need it. So that's what I do every month as a gathering place for the community to just get to know me and other people. And then I have more specialized programs for people who want to do different levels of work. So however, and if anyone just wants to get in touch or be familiar with me, my website is HeidiRome.com.
Terrific. And it'll be in these show notes too.
Okay.
So if you're looking at this at another time, she is tagged. And if you're looking at this in one of our other platforms, the address and everything will be on the bottom. Awesome. That's so exciting. So I'm curious, what are your dreams of the future now that you have this beautiful platform?
Well, the platform is growing.
Yeah.
There are plans for spreading the word based on Ethan's that particular conversation and others. I have Ethan's permission to share that story because he felt that it would help other moms too.
Yeah.
And the goal now is to build a global platform for this, to build the community. Beautiful. Of moms and the friends of the moms and the friends of the community to come together, because really, Camille, this is about creating a kinder world that he can live in without judgment, with the supports that he needs, the protection and understanding and honoring that is his birthright, because it is the birthright of every human being. Whatever package they come in, whatever they look like, whatever they believe in, whatever their ability or challenge, we are all made in God's image. We are all have the divine spark within us. The candle looks different, but the flame is the same.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful.
That acknowledges that, because that is the world that Ethan and those like him need and deserve to live in. And I and our community, we are creating that world right now, because it must be, it is, therefore it is, it must be for our kids who must have it and deserve to live in honor and self-expressed and a place that acknowledges their gifts, which are tremendous. So.
I was just going to say that. So for those that don't know, my oldest is on the spectrum as well. Higher up, but when I first learned, and getting her through school and stuff was a little bit difficult, that I always felt she was a higher soul. Yes. Like I was gifted to have her in my life because I was learning extraordinary lessons along the way.
Well, Camille, yeah, right. She's a teacher, huh?
Oh my gosh, extraordinary. And the older she gets, she's now 21, the more I learn, because now as she's become a mature adult, she's able to teach others in such a beautiful way. I mean, the most caring, giving person. And it's just amazing to watch.
Well, there are books have been written on this, and our kids are very much in touch with a truth that love is the matrix of reality, and all the dysfunction in the world is when we forget that.
Yeah.
And the people, the non-speaking kids like Ethan, who type or otherwise communicate through alternative methods, universally, this is their message. Just love. Remember to love. That's all that matters. That's the only thing that's real. And at one point you said, your daughter is a higher soul. At one point there was I was getting all upset. What's going to happen when Ethan's 21? He has to leave this wonderful school because it's only through school, right? And then where's he going to go, and where's he going to be? And I have to create Ethan's village, and what's going to happen? And I'm all upset. I'm crying, right? Like I'm a mess. I'm putting myself into a tizzy. Over, what's going to happen, right? What a waste, right? Worry is praying for something you don't want to happen. So like here I am, like worried. So what does Ethan communicate? Mom, dry your tears. I am a master soul, and all is well.
Oh my gosh, that's chilling.
I was like, okay then.
Chilling.
I guess I'll stop crying right now.
Like, you got this. Okay.
Okay then. Right?
Oh, that's such a beautiful story. Yeah. Master souls. I love that. Well, Heidi, thank you so much for sharing your story with us and your work. And I know it always hears exactly who it's supposed to hear it in the moment that they need it.
I hope so.
Thank you so much. So before closing, I always like to ask our guests, what are 3 words that best describe NLBP to you?
Oh, only 3. Oh my gosh. All right. Loving, embracing, supporting.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your story and being a member of NLBP and a part of our soul community.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for creating this wonderful, wonderful
You are so welcome.
community. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Bye-bye.